Alright, we are back with another part of Broken Turnabout YouTube. Before I was imprisoned, Vera and I were acquainted. It was I who gave her the quinine. Vera was a brat child. Together we formed a murder-suicide plot with Drew Mishram as the target. As part of Vera's plan, I sent her the quinine on a stamp inside a red envelope. The stamp was the chosen weapon because Vera wanted to kill what she hated, using what she loved. Last year, the time for the plot's fulfillment came. Vera murdered her father and tried to kill herself. Damn it. Daughters trying to murder their own fathers. For once I'm sure how I feel about it. I don't like it. I told you I'm an evil, evil man. And Vera Mishram is an evil, evil little girl. Try not to get taken in by her delicate Saturn act. Thank you for the warning, Mr. Gavin. Apollo, are you alright? You're turning as red as your vest. But Gavin, that testimony was a pack of lies and he knows it. Why is he doing this? What does he hope to gain from making Vera out to be some creepy murderess? I don't know for sure, but I'm not going to sit around and let him talk like that. It's time to end this. That testimony was a pack of lies. And I know that with certainty. Bring this trial to a close? Yeah, this testimony will bring the trial to a close, Miss Von Karma. Just not the way you think. Your Honor, the defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. I feel like this trial will be over pretty soon. Alright, Mr. Justice, if there is nothing further from anyone, you may begin your cross-examination. Damn it. Miss Von Karma, what is it? Why are you stopping the proceedings? Something is the matter, and I really should have taken care of it sooner, Your Honor. I understand you are unfamiliar with Miss Arpalis and Miss Athena Sykes. Now you should know that they're rather well known for certain courtroom quirks. For that I refer to the unusual tactics they employ in their cross-examinations. No. She's not about to do what I think she's about to do, is she? She is. You see, Your Honor, Mr. Apologist claims to be able to see witnesses' toes when they lie. Miss Athena Sykes claims to have super hearing that... I'm fine with that. Good thing I didn't really pick that up. Anyways, Miss Athena Sykes claims to have super hearing that lets her hear the discord in people's hearts. Obviously, such notions defy reality. The prosecution asserts that the claims are mere scare tactics meant to discomfort witnesses. Your Honor, the defense's tactics are legitimate and founded upon scientific principles. Athena's mood matrix was designed by the renowned scientist Meta Sykes. My perceived skill is based upon scientific principles of body language. Dr. Meta Sykes designed the mood matrix to help her daughter cope with overactive hearing. That does not give it any right to be used in the court of law. While there is a certain science to tells, it's hardly evidence that the witness is lying. It only proves the witness is nervous. Unless you provide proof of the lie, your claims are invalid. Besides, there are plenty of methods backed by science that are still not allowed in court. I said practices such as lie detector tests. Even handwriting analysis isn't considered empirical. Even assuming Perceiver and the mood matrix are legitimate, they still have no right to be in court. Your Honor, I ask you to make a right ruling to prohibit their use in this trial today. No! Order! I will have order in my court. Mr. Justice, are Miss Von Karma's allegations true? Are you about to use techniques of ambiguous scientific caliber? Your Honor, I assure you I had no intention of using any techniques I did not consider entirely legitimate. But you don't deny that the practices are not widely accepted by the scientific community at large. It's because the defense cannot deny the claim, Your Honor. It's because they were about to use techniques unaccepted by the scientific community at large. The prosecution has nothing further it would like to say. This is really bad, Apollo. You're telling me? I don't think there's anything we can really do about this one issue, though. This judge is eating right out of Prosecutor Von Karma's hands. Enough, I have made my decision. Mr. Justice, Miss Sykes, you will both refrain from using your techniques in cross-examination. I understood. Yes, Your Honor. Damn, that took 6 minutes. Alrighty then. What do you mean you were acquainted? How on earth did you know each other? Honestly, Justice, you of all people should know. You're the one who's so desperate to prove it last year. Your mission forged evidence for me. So you confess then, you were the one who forged diary page in the grammar. Grammary, murder trial. That is beside the point, and you will have no evidence to back up the claim. You know what? I would have evidence if you hadn't taken it all away. If you can't be much sure about losing blatantly illegal evidence, Mr. Apologist, then you can leave. Miss Von Karma, you need to direct your fury towards justice. I should apologize. I practically goaded him into saying that. My apologies, Justice. I'll try to keep my wit in check from now on. I bet you will. But to be clear, no, I maintain my innocence in the grammar and murder trial forgery scandal. Employed after she rendered her services to the unknown party responsible for Wright's downfall. It was sweet of her to not mention the extent of our correspondence and relationship to anyone. She was willing to protect my reputation. We were rather close, you know. What exactly do you mean by close? I mean that we were close, that we were excellent friends. Upon meeting one another, I sensed her intelligence. We hit it off rather well after that. We had to be close to have trusted one another with the plan we formulated together. Just gonna read this. Justice system overruled. Only days ago at the Capitol building, the Congressional Committee assigned to debate the famous jury system legislation finally came to a decision and failed the legislation, meaning the bill will not be debated in the Committee of the Whole. The justice system legislation entailed a massive revamp of the current justice system. The initial trial system would be replaced with the so-called jury system. Instead of judges handing down verdicts, juries of 6 ordinary American citizens would watch the proceedings and determine the verdict themselves. In Phoenix tried a defense attorney who was reinstated earlier this year after a 7-year disbarment, is credited with the inception of the concept and was its most vocal proponent. Last October, a test trial for the jury system was held under his direction under the case of State versus Misham. The case of State v. Misham regarded the murder of Drew Misham, an obscure artist who was murdered last October. During the course of the proceedings, prison inmate and recently disbarred attorney Christoph Gavin was implicated for the crime, despite there being no legal concrete evidence proving Christoph Gavin's guilt. The jurors nonetheless acquitted Misham unanimously. The prosecutor's office then rescheduled Christoph Gavin's trial for the same murder. When asked for his thoughts on Phoenix Wright's justice system immediately after the trial last year, Christoph Gavin famously said the following to this newspaper's reporters: "I will get my revenge on him and justice before this is over." Following the test trial, a congressional committee in the United States House of Representatives was assigned to debate the legislation pertaining to the justice system. The information gathered from the State v. Misham test trial was to be used by the committee in its deliberation. Based on testimony from Christoph Gavin, the congressional committee ultimately rejected the proposed system on account of it failing to uphold established evidence law. Furthermore, during the past year, controversy surrounding the creation of the jury system was discovered, with accusations of political scheming being hurled. While little has been officially said on the matter by either congressional representatives or federal investigators, an anonymous federal agent did say that at least one of the jurors was most probably biased towards the defense. Virtually no congressional representatives wished to make any comments after the negation of the jury system legislation, barring Senator Lemonsnout, who said the following: "Evidence is everything, but have you seen Gavin's scar?" Huh. Oh then, I would Vera even want to do that. She loved her father. Did she? Justice, did you ever see them interact?
Dude, that's a little...
Well, sound the alarms. The defendant has made a claim that suggests she has no motive. Of course Vera would lie and say she loved her father. She didn't want to be caught. The truth is that Vera abhorred her father. As I said, she was a brat child. She understood that her father was manipulating her into forging paintings for him. Drew Misham kept all the profit made from the forgeries. Naturally, Vera was furious. She felt betrayed. Drew Misham only did that to make a living and take care of his daughter. Who told you that again? It was the Phoenix Writer, wasn't it? To forge an attorney. Those charges were never proven, and you know it. There's no reason not to trust Mr. Wright. We've been over this, Mr. Apologist. It's the Phoenix Wright who orchestrated the original trial to clear his name. Any evidence collected by him or testimony given by him cannot be trusted. Objection sustained. Mr. Justice, the court demands that you control yourself and cease to bring up illegal evidence. Fine. I need another angle. What should I ask about? Why is this only coming up now? Why didn't you mention this in last year's trial? This will require some explaining, I suppose. You must understand, Justice. I was not the murderer as you claimed last year. I was Vera's accomplice. What kind of an accomplice would I have been had I been forthcoming with all of Vera's secrets so easily? Above all else, Justice, I am loyal to my compatriots. I only wish I could say the same of you. Your grudge against me has nothing to do with this, Gavin. Fine, my point still stands. I didn't confess last year because he was trying to protect Vermisham. Are you satisfied, Justice? Well, Mr. Justice, are you satisfied? Am I satisfied, or do I want this statement amended to this? I wonder. Do amend. Your Honor, the defense is not satisfied. I would like the statement amended to the original testimony to further cross-examination. Alright, Justice, I'll append it to the end of my testimony. Now may I continue? Yes, Mr. Governor, please do. Really? Do 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 do. Objection! 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 My God! What was the suicide part of the plot? What was that all about? You see, Vera wanted to murder her father because she wanted to be free of his control over her. If she were, however, to be caught, she wouldn't really be free at all, now would she? No, that's what the suicide portion of the pact was for. If at any point she believed she'd be caught, she could kill herself with the object I gave her, thus granting herself ultimate freedom from her trapped, sheltered existence. This is insane. Vera would never do that. Wouldn't she now? My testimony doesn't contradict any of the evidence. And you've already agreed that Drew Mission was manipulating Vera into forging paintings for him. The only detail we disagreed on was why. Personally, I think it would be very difficult for the court to believe Vera had no idea for 7 years. Gavin, I will come up with something and then you'll regret telling this insane lie. Well, it seems to me that Mr. Apologist has heard enough. Indeed, Mr. Gavin, please continue your testimony. So that was the only... Okay. A red envelope? Are you talking about the envelope discovered in last year's investigation? That's right, Justice. But Vera testified last year that the red envelope was sent by the client who ordered her first work. She also said that her first work was the diary page from the Grammar forgery scandal. A forgery you explicitly claimed to be completely unconnected to. Do I really need to spell this out for you, Justice? Vera obviously lied in order to hide our association. Do you really think she would have been honest and said, this accomplice was sent by my accomplice? She was being cross-examined. She needed to produce a convincing lie in a very small window of time. Your reactions right now suggest that you brought her story part and parcel. Disappointing for my star student, to say the least. But the letter clearly instructed Mr. Misham to use the stamp to send a return letter. Why would you write that if Vera wanted the stamp for herself? You're well aware that Mr. Misham had reclusive tendencies, correct? Oh, these tendencies were the result of paranoia. Vera feared that if I personally sent her the stamp, her father would be suspicious of our association. He wasn't aware of our close friendship, after all. So Vera instructed me to send the stamp in a letter Mr. Misham was already expecting from me. In other words, a letter that was part of a business transaction between the two of us. Miss Misham wouldn't be suspicious of a business correspondence that he was expecting after all. So I sent the letter in that red envelope, and Vera planned to take the stamp when it arrived. How could her father say no when it was a commemorative stamp for her favorite magicians? The defendant truly thought of everything. What an incredibly detailed plan. I do believe that adequately explains the entire matter. Of course it does. It is truth after all. Right. Gavin seems to have thought of everything I could possibly bring up. Seems being the key word. No matter what Gavin or Ron Karma think, this case can't be perfect. I just need to find a contradiction that will rip the whole thing apart. Alright, fine, but why the stamp? I was at the murder weapon. Glad you asked, Justice, you see. I assume you mean that she loved Troop Grammary and wanted to kill her father using their stamp? Precisely, Justice. Although the defenses maintain that Vera did not hate her father. I maintain that she did. She killed him, so I don't know what else to tell you, Justice. No, she didn't. But let's try not to get sidetracked, Gavin. What I don't understand is why Vera left the stamp in the frame if she was using it as a weapon. You said it yourself that in the trial last year. Drew Misham wasn't even planning on using the stamp. That's a pretty poor excuse for a murder weapon. Allow me to explain. Vera was a bright child, but she was also very superstitious. I'm sure you recall how in the trial last year she called the client to order the dire page a devil. She was talking about you, but yeah, I remember. Mr. Apollo Justice, if you not cease to insult the witness, I will have you held in contempt of court. Objection sustained. Mr. Justice, please try to exercise some control. Yes, Your Honor. Gavin, continue where you left off. Thank you, Justice. As I said, Vera was superstitious. As such, she believed in fate and destiny. She told me that she put the stamp in the frame because she wanted her father to die by fate's hand. She wanted happy circumstances to apply the finishing blow. To her miserable miser of a guardian. Says she left the stamp in the frame and waited for fate to do its work. I did not necessarily agree with her plan, but it wasn't my place to object. I was but her accomplice. I see, Mr. Gavin. Truly, the mind of a killer is dark and twisted. Your Honor, please, see reason. I would have made so many objections if I just had evidence. Sure, for all of this, Von Karma. I believe we're ready to move on, Mr. Gavin. Please continue your testimony. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Why did it take so long? Are you really claiming that Vera did nothing to expedite the murder? I understand that Vera was superstitious. She wanted fate to decide when her father died. I said she was a bright girl who loathed her father, not a talented murderess. What justice do you believe that you could have done a better... What justice do you believe that you could have done a better job than her? Mr. Justice, this is some kind of confession. What? No, of course not, Your Honor. Good, you wouldn't want to see how I deal with murderers, Mr. Justice. I wouldn't either. You seem to be treating Gavin pretty nicely. Anyway, I assume that when you say Vera tried to kill herself, you refer to her poisoning during court? Yes, I can tell you that was self-inflicted. It was Vera's attempt at suicide. Poisoning her nail polish was a stroke of genius she concocted herself. I told you she was bright. It gave her a way to end her life at a moment's notice, should she think she were being caught. Brilliant, no? Is there a... There is a problem. Gavin, there's a problem with your testimony. Is there? I don't think so. I assure you that I'm telling nothing but the truth here. Really, Gavin, I find that hard to believe. You claim that Vera intentionally poisoned her nail polish so that she could kill herself when she pleased. She fell a victim to ascertain justice or innocence was about to be proven, not her guilt. Alright, that is actually completely correct. Order in the court. Mr. Gavin, do you have an explanation for this? Your Honor, Mr. Apologist cannot just make a claim like this without contextualizing it. The prosecution demands that he explain what he means when he says the defendant's innocence was about to be proven. Oh, certainly. We had concluded that Vera was the true target of the crime and that the client had tried to kill her. To that end, we asked her who had hired her to forge the Grand Marais diary page for 7 years earlier. If she had just told us, she probably would have been found not guilty right then and there, since we would have had another, more likely suspect. She wouldn't have chosen then to kill herself. It just wouldn't have made sense at the time. I spoke too soon, didn't I? Mr. Apologist, you have just made a critical error. Dare I ask what it was? You say that it would have been insensible of the defendant to kill herself when she did, because the trial was proceeding in a manner that would have ended with her found not guilty. However, you have forgotten about one very important detail, one that you brought up earlier yourself. Quinine is a slow-acting poison. It takes 15 minutes to take effect. Tell us, Mr. Apologist, what was happening 15 minutes before Vera collapsed? There was. She was being pressured into confessing to her crimes of forgery. Exactly. The defendant was not about to be found not guilty when she decided to take her life. She was being caught. Thus the defense's objection carries absolutely no weight. Excellent catch, Miss Von Karma. I couldn't have put it better myself. Sorry, Justice, but the facts simply weren't quite what you made them out to be. Well, if we've wasted enough time on this basic objection, Fuck. Let me see. I'll keep that. Why exactly were you trying to protect her? I already explained this to you, Justice. We were close friends as well as co-conspirators. An intellectual kinship existed between the two of us, and as I've said, I'm nothing if not loyal. So there was no other reason for you not bringing this up in last year's trial. If you're trying to get me to say that I hadn't yet thought up the story, you're going to fail, Justice. My testimony doesn't contradict any of the evidence. Stop flailing and accept your defeat with grace. Gloria has thoroughly impressed this subject, Justice. Are you quite finished yet? Alright, done. are done. Given I have to ask, why are you so loyal? I suppose it's simply in my nature. Why do you ask? Well, fuck. Kevin, why would Vera have chosen you to help her kill her father? Why did she trust you? Did I already explain this? Damn it. Alright. Gavin, there's something I can't help but wonder. Pray tell, Justice. Perhaps I can enlighten you. It's a strange thing, really. You see, you said you were trying to protect her, right? That's correct, Justice. We're glad to see you're capable of a good first-grade level of memorization to recall. Oh, in that case, there's something you just haven't really explained. Why aren't you protecting her now? What's changed so that now you're confessing everything and getting both of you in trouble? What's with them? Why is everyone in the courtroom staring at us? Really, Justice, I thought that I taught you better than that. Isn't the reason obvious? Isn't my motivation clear? I told you that I'm nothing if not loyal. Now tell me, what does that mean now about how I feel about disloyal people? You dislike them? Precisely, Justice. Now, I know you don't agree with my version of events, but assume for a moment I am right. In that case, what did Vermisham do with the instant she didn't deny the story you concocted about me being the sole murderer of your father, Drew Misham? Her. Now you're getting it, Justice. She betrayed me. When she saw you had won her case, she must have decided to adopt your version of events, in order to save her own skin, prioritizing her own well-being above our partnership's integrity. Betrayal of the rankest nature, the lowest degree. I cannot forgive a traitor, Justice. That's why I'm coming clean now, why I've ceased my protection. For without our partnership, what is there left to protect? But why has it taken so long? Why a year before you come clean? At first I didn't realize I had been betrayed. The trial's outcome left me in a haze. Over time, however, I realized that the only way I could have been framed for the crime was if a wicked little Vera had allowed the finger of blame to fall upon me herself. Sorry about that, YouTube. That's loaded language and you know it. Fine, withdrawn, the judge can't unhear it, and everything besides word wicked still stands. The objection is meaningless. The core of the testimony remains unchallenged. You lose, Justice.
Boop. Boop, 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 boop.
Gavin, you're a maniac. Do you know that? You know that.
Huh?
Order! I will have order in this courtroom. Eh? Eh? Canadian judge.
I'm a Canadian. Yay!
Canadian judge. Order, I will have order in this courtroom. Eh? Mr. Justice, if you verbally abuse the witness like that again, I will hold you in contempt. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Enough. Mr. Justice, you have failed to find any contradiction in testimony that weren't explainable. I am afraid that I simply see no reason to continue this examination. Mr. Gavin is free to go. Bailiff, escort him out so that he may return to the prison. At a fine example of a witness, I scarcely had to raise my voice. No. No! Apollo, are you alright? Your Honor, you can't let the cross-examination end like this. Not now. Why on earth not, Mr. Apollo? Oh, Justice, why should we continue the cross-examination? Why? It's because... Damn it! It's because of... I don't have a reason. I'm so sorry, Vera. I just don't have anything left. The only way to get you acquitted is to prove that Gavin did it. And I can't. Well, if the defense is satisfied, I believe that the witness is free to leave now. Indeed. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gavin out. He is now free to return to prison. Thank you, Your Honor. It's been a pleasure serving the court. Farewell, Justice. You should visit me in prison sometime. You'll always be welcome. I failed. Huh? Did you actually press it?
No.
Good.
I would.
Well, it seems that we've come to the end of the trial. I can't and see no reason to doubt the prosecution's argument. The defendant's guilt is certain. No, I can't let it end like this. I need to saw something, anything. You're a real crook, you know that, Fun Karma? Arrgh. Anything but that. Prosecution kinda asks that the defense refrain from hurling childish insults. Court agrees. Mr. Justice, you're lucky I'm not holding you in contempt. That's only because the trial is about to win. Afterwards, I advise that you think long and hard about your appalling behavior today. To be very honest, you have been kinda rude to everybody, Apollo. One of them was a murderer, and the other is a prosecutor. Come on, Apollo, you've got to think of something. I can't. But there's nothing further. This court finds the defendant a very mission. Hold it, yeah! Mr. Wright! What? Who are you? What's the hobo doing in my court? Ouch! What's a hobo doing in my courtroom? Yes! Hobo! Hobo Phoenix! Ouch! Silence, that's no hobo. That's no hobo, that's the infamous Mr. Phoenix Wright himself. What on earth are you doing here? Why on earth are you dressed like that? You're a lawyer again. Not to watch a poker player. Yow! That man is no more a lawyer than a common swine is. Political machinations, recreated evidence, the Mason system, the judge system. I've done my homework, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and you are not worthy of being called an attorney. It's good to see you too, Von Karma. You haven't aged a day since I saw you last. In both body and level of maturity. Excuse me? Apollo, Athena, trying to hold out against the Von Karma, I see. The fact that you're both still alive at all is impressive. Mr. Wright, if I may ask, why are you here? I thought you were inquiring on urgent business. Isn't it obvious, Apollo? I'm here to testify. Wait, what? Yeah! Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Your Honor, you cannot possibly let Mr. Phoenix Wright testify. He is entirely untrustworthy. Your Honor, you have to let Mr. Wright testify. It's the court's duty to examine all testimony. I'm not saying you have to believe Mr. Wright, but at least hear him out. Why should the court listen to testimony it doesn't even plan on believing? I don't believe I've ever heard of a more effective way to waste the court's time, Mr. Apollo Justice. You're only saying that because you have prejudice against Mr. Wright. How can the court trust your assessment of this situation? This testimony could shed some light on the case. We have to at least check. Enough of this foolishness. Mr. Phoenix Wright was not even there when the crime took place. What could he possibly testify about? We won't know until you allow him to speak. The defense demands that Mr. Wright be allowed to take the stand. I said order! Thank you. Corrupt attorney is testifying, eh? I'm not sure how I feel about that. Please, Your Honor, I'll keep it quick. I just know I'm going to regret this, but alright, the defense is correct. The court does indeed have a duty to hear all testimony. What? Your Honor, no! The prosecution demands a 10-minute recess in order to process what just happened. Very well, Mr. Von Karma. We will now have a 10-minute recess. Court is adjourned. What is going on right now? Yeah, we got extra time, but I have no idea what Mr. Wright's playing. Apollo. There, are you alright? You don't believe anything that devil said, did you? Of course not, Rare. That testimony was all lies. He said such horrible things about me. The judge seems to believe him. Apollo, I'm scared. Don't worry, Vera. We're going to get you out of this. I hope. Apollo, is Vera going to be alright? I hope so. She's absolutely terrified of Gavin. This testimony really freaked her out. That Gavin. That Von Karma. What are they trying to accomplish with all this madness? Isn't it obvious? They're both after revenge. Mr. Wright, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Goring. A little bird with a bag of signs told me that you two were in a bind. I got here as fast as I could. Emma? Yep, she called and I rushed over. I came here straight from the train station, hence the street attire. But boss, Von Karma already got the judge to sort all the evidence from the original trial. That's including all of your investigation. What do you have left to testify about? Well, I still have a few tricks left up my sleeve. It's Von Karma. Von Karma. To what do I owe the pleasure? Don't talk to me as though if equals Mr. Phoenix Wright. Fine, fine. In that case, do you want to talk... you want me to talk down to you? Such a burn! That's not what I meant, and you know it. Heh. Sorry, I'm not really one to pass a joke these days. Enough of your foolishness, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You're coming with me. Going to prepare my testimony, make sure it doesn't contradict your case. Mr. Wright isn't your witness, Von Karma. He's the witness for the defense. Ow. Does look like I care. Can't do this, Von Karma. All these dirty tricks are going to get you disbarred once someday. Who do you lot think you are to talk to me about dirty tricks? What? I told you that I did my homework. Mr. Apologist, and I... Yeah, and? I could have you when the Phoenix Wright disbarred for that bloody use of spades in your first trial. Do you know about that? Wait, are you going through all this whole trial? If this is about revenge, why not just turn Phoenix Wright in for that? Then he'd be in jail. He'd be punished. You'd have your revenge. Isn't that what you want? Oh shit! What's this music again? It's Renaissance. It's music. I know it is. Or is this new music? Music not from the games. I don't remember. Whatever. Such a pitiful vengeance would never be fitting. You still misunderstand me, Mr. Apologist. I do not just want to revenge on Mr. Phoenix Wright. I am here to teach all of you a lesson as well. A lesson about how justice is not a tool of vengeance. Mr. Phoenix Wright, you broke the system, the justice system. You broke the system, the justice system, the one you swore you would uphold. And for what? Revenge. Stupid, simple, petty, foolish revenge. Isn't isn't that what she's here for? For once in your fairy life you lost. You lost to a glittery fool because you did something stupid. What drove you to present that dire page? What kind of fool do you have to be to do that? And that wasn't enough for you, was it? You just had to be bitter about it. You had to strike back. So you drag my little brother and Master Maffei into the mess, and you get them to help you. With what? Breaking the system. Of course. You lost the game, so you decided to change the rules. You couldn't leave quietly or admit your loss and start over. No. You had to get back at Gavin. You placed your own pride before the ideas you claim to believe in, Mr. Wright, and that I cannot forgive. That is what my revenge is for. That is what my lesson is about. And by the one common name, I have reformed. I will see to it that it is scarred into your hide, right? Sorry about that, YouTube. Let's continue. Ah. Of course not. But I'm afraid blah 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 blah. Huh? Attention! Court will be reconvene in 1 minute. Please into the chamber. Yeah. We've got to get back inside quick. Jeez, asshole!
Everyone has
Fucking
one.
asshole!
Everyone has one.
Come on, Vera, hurry. I know it's scary, but you've got to get back in there. Kevin's gone now. That's right, what are we supposed to do now? Arg! No collusion between the witness and defense. Mr. Phoenix Wright, you're coming with me. Mr. Wright. Don't worry, Apollo. When the time comes, you'll know what to do. Court is once again in session for the trial mission. I believe that this trial is more or less over. All that remains is Mr. Wright's testimony. Mr. Justice, is the defense ready? In all honesty, Your Honor, no, but the defense suspects that the court really doesn't really care. You're darn right it doesn't. Now, is the prosecution ready? Mr. Justice, this court circus has gone on long enough. I won't tolerate any court romantics, am I clear? As a cloudless sky... Prosecutor Von Karma. Good. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Excellent. Let's get on with the testimony, eh? Of course, Your Honor. Witness, state your name and occupation. Phoenix Wright, piano player. Excuse me? I thought you'd been reinstated as an attorney. You said it yourself, Von Karma. I'm no more a lawyer than a pig is. This is getting weird. What's Mr. This is getting weird. What's Mr. Wright's game here? What's he trying to do? Look, I don't have time to deal. I don't have time to deal with whether or not the man counts as a lawyer. Let's just get through the testimony and be done with it. Of course, Your Honor. Witness, please testify about whatever it was you felt so strongly about testifying about. Much obliged, Your Honor, Mr. Montgomery. And this is where I'll end the video, YouTube. Goodbye.